Ladies and gents, we are getting back to normal. We got another Christmas tree looking like formation today that apparently does well in FM24. We'll see how it works today. Another one by RPJ Football. Apparently a lot of these tactic creators are throwing up a lot of tactics all at once, and that's why I'm finding them the way they are. But this one is called the 3-4-2-1 triple libero. A lot of good screenshots, a video as well. He's done a fantastic job with this as usual. A lot of good description. This tactic is focused on using a very aggressive defensive line to suffocate the opposition through overloads in their first half. So read it up. Definitely a lot of good work goes into these from RPJ Football. So very proud of what he does. But how did it do for our three teams? We'll get to the tactic at the very end of the video. As you can see, Liverpool in second place, 79 points, less than what they usually get. They usually get around 85, but 79 is not the greatest, but still, second place. Could be a down season in the Premier League. Aston Villa in ninth, still getting Europa League, but ninth place, 64 points, not the greatest. Liverpool's FA Cup runs out in the third round against Middlesbrough, 0-1. That's not great. And then the EFL Cup semi-final second leg is where they lose out. Unfortunately, not beating them or beating Man City enough to get through. They're out in the second leg of the semi-finals. But they do not go through the season without a trophy. The Europa League final against Sporting, very nice win, 2-1. After beating Atalanta, Dortmund, and Benfica. Pretty good run there. So competitions, Premier League doing fairly well, getting into the Champions League next season. Europa League winners, unfortunately, just kicked to the curb in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. I mean, knocked out in the semis in the Carabao Cup, not bad. But squad-wise, as you can see, 23 goals for Salah, Nunez with 20, assists 19 for Szoboszlai, 11 for Trent and McAllister, and then average rating 7.34 for Szoboszlai, Trent was 7.29. Wow, look at the second half of the season for Aston Villa. They're getting a bunch to them. If we take a look at the FA Cup and the EFL Cup first, you can see FA Cup, fourth round. That's where they lose out. 0-2 against Brentford, really. But the EFL Cup, 2-0 over Man City. There's trophy number one, and that's a big one. Coming up against Man City and beating them 2-0, that's a fantastic one. It's EFL Cup, Carabao Cup still, but it's a fantastic win right there. And then trophy number two comes over Frankfurt in the Conference League final, 3-0. That's a big one too. Fenerbahce is always in the mix, but overall a fantastic run up to the final and getting another trophy. So Premier League, not great, ninth place. Europa League or Europa Conference League, check. FA Cup, fourth round by Brentford, not good. Carabao Cup though, check. Two trophies this season. I would say that's a good season for Aston Villa. These stats don't seem to look like it though. I mean, as you can see, goals 20 for Ollie Watkins, definitely a downturn for him. Diaby with 14, another down season. Moreno with 10 assists, and that's the top. Average rating is 7.30 for Buendia, and Martinez with a 7.13. That's pretty good. But overall, stats, I mean, yeah, ninth place for Premier League. I guess you guys can see that here. Data Hub, Liverpool looking a lot more attacking minded than Aston Villa, and look at that defense. Aston Villa, as you can see, a lot less numbers, some shots and things over the Premier League average, but still not the greatest. Defensively though, they're still doing an incredible job. Premier League stats wise, definitely the Man City show. Liverpool coming in second with most goals with, what does he have? 82. Fewest shots against Liverpool. Most possession, Liverpool is down there. Finally, dribbles made, Aston Villa all the way in the bottom of the eighth, but Liverpool in fourth. Most tackles, nobody. Best pass completion, both teams are in there. Most shots for Liverpool with 658, over 100 more than Man City. Aston Villa doing a pretty good job too. As you can see, Ipswich Town getting promoted over Leeds in the final. What does the league table look like? They come in fifth. 87 points, not the greatest tally we've seen. 89 goals, definitely not the greatest we've seen. I mean, they're in what, fifth or fourth maybe? But overall, they're still promoted, so not a bad job. And you could probably do better if you took control of this team yourself. EFL Cup first round, you're out against the Bristol Rovers. That's a bad result. But semi-finals against Tottenham, 2-1. Doing very well there. 88-minute goal, and you got an own goal in the 28th as well. If you kept that off, maybe you could have won. But overall, a fantastic run in the FA Cup. Squad-wise, you can see 20 goals for Hurst and Chaplin. Definitely a down season for Hurst, but overall not bad. 8 assists apiece for Chaplin and Harness. Leif Davis nowhere even in the list. Where's Leif Davis? He went to Luton Town. That's an interesting one. He could have done a much better job keeping Ipswich Town up and doing very well for them. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be. 7-10 for Christian Walton and Donasian. Sorry, I'm always going to get that name wrong. Unfortunately, the stats just don't show what a fantastic season they had. I would expect a lot higher numbers for some of these players. But, I mean, players like Leif Davis leaving, that's kind of big. I wouldn't do that. Stats-wise, they're in here, unfortunately, or they're in some of these numbers. Unfortunately, they're mid-table. You know, 4th place, 6th place, 5th place there. Most shots for second. There you go. That's the highest they are. Overall, stats-wise, they just didn't show up. But, I mean, it counts where it matters. They're getting promoted, so that's a big one. But now, as we hit up the tactic itself, as you can see, a sweeper keeper in defend, liberos through and through, 2 on defend, 1 in support, complete wingbacks on the left and the right, Segundo Volantes in the central spots in support, shadow strikers in attack, and an advanced forward in attack up front. Positive mentality in possession, attacking width is fairly wide, passing directness is shorter, tempo is higher, low crosses and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the center backs and roll it out. And then out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. So overall, I mean, I have to say, I don't really know if this tactic worked all that well. Of course, if you played with these teams, if you took control and did your own match shouts, training, transfers, things like that, you could do a much better job. That 92 to 79 point differential is kind of big. Aston Villa in 9th place is kind of big. Ipswitch Town, though, getting promoted, even though with their stats don't seem to show it, but it's got some really big positives and then some kind of big negatives. So take a look, read up on it, see if it's for you. But this formation, which should be, and I've been told, is a clear favorite in FM24, especially for breaking the match engine, didn't seem to do it this time around. But that is it for me, Seffian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.